today we're going to practice deadheading roses. Deadheading is one of my most absolute favourite jobs in the garden. Whether it's deadheading roses or perennials, it's such a relaxing thing. It's a time that you can really enjoy being in your garden, enjoying nature, enjoying just what you've got in front of you without thinking about the rest of the world. Now, it's really important to deadhead your rose as soon as you can, because the faster you deadhead, the quicker you're going to get more blooms. So I've got this rose here, which is my gorgeous My Mum rose, one of my absolute favourites, and it's had a bit of weather damage as well as being just at the right time for deadheading. So you can see we've got these big branches that have been affected by the rain, and they probably won't stand up again, so we're going to have to be slightly more severe than normal. This branch here is nearly completely over, so one would be tempted just to snip it back at the base of the flower cluster. But no, we shouldn't be doing that. What you need to do is to go down the stem, just a couple of more leaf nodules, right the way down to here. Because as you can see, just take that one off, as you can see, as you go down the stem, it gets a little bit thicker, and it's down here that you have a new leaf stem appearing. And if you go down just a couple of leaf nodes, you'll get a much thicker stem that will produce bigger clusters of bloom. So I'm just going to go down there and snip just above the leaf nodule like that, and take that whole stem off. And then in a few weeks time you'll have a fresh branch that'll come out from here, and it'll keep your bush open. You don't actually want to cut back to a leaf stem that's facing back inwards to the bush, because the more inwards growth you've got in your bush, the more disease you'll have. So always cut to an outward facing bud. Some of the clusters of roses are still more or less perfect. So all we need to do when deadheading is to just take off the oldest bloom and snip right in here at the base so it's tidy, and have a look at the cluster and see, yes, that now looks perfect. With this cluster here, I've still got some really good little fresh roses and of course some buds, so I want to keep those. So on this cluster I'm just going to tidy up the middle part and have a little look in here. And there we have a nice fresh cluster. Now that cluster all looks perfect to me, so I'm going to leave that, and that will give me some more blooms over the next few days. This cluster back here is pretty much the same. It's got a spent rose at the back and another one at the side and another one over at this side, and then the rest of my flowers pretty good and tidy. So I'm going to leave them, and I'll get another few days blooming out of them, and they still look really nice and pretty. So this is my Sally Holmes rose, and pretty much the whole bush is spent. Now I need to get on to pruning this whole rose right the way over, so I get some fresh blooms again in about 6 weeks time. Poor Sally, she's such a strong girl. I don't want her to be too huge and arching, so I'm going to take her back in different stages. This one I'm going to take back down to here. Over here I'm going to go down to here, another outward facing bud, and back this way for an outward facing bud, so that I get a nicely shaped bush. And it's just a matter of going over the whole rose, having a look at each branch to see which way you'd like it to shoot next, because you don't want all your branches going this way, you don't want all your branches going that way, and of course you need a nice arching shrub. So the general rule of thumb when trimming a rose like this is that it will take between 5 and 6 weeks for the flowers to come back. So if you're pruning for a wedding or a special event, use the 6-week rule. You don't want to do 4 weeks, because obviously you're not going to get any flowers at all, and it's a bit safer to be on the generous side. And you don't want to leave the roses on for a long time, because this particular rose will make quite reasonably big hips, and it'll put a lot of energy into making those hips. And instead of making hips, you want it to be making new branches of growth. So the main thing to remember when you're pruning your roses, don't prune just underneath the cluster of blooms, but go down another couple of leaf nodes till you've got a sturdy stem, because this sturdy stem will produce another sturdy branch with a bigger cluster of rose. Once you've pruned, the second flush of roses will come in around 6 weeks time. And remember, get out and enjoy your garden, enjoy deadheading, because it's such a rewarding thing to do.